Hello and welcome to KISS Math. In our last unit we covered adding and subtracting negative numbers, and here we will cover multiplying and dividing them. Luckily for you, the rules for multiplying and dividing negative numbers are much easier, and there's only two of them. If you have two numbers with the same sign, the answer will be positive, and if you have two numbers with different signs, the answer will be negative. So if you have something like positive 3 times a positive 5, the result will be a positive 15 because both the 3 and the 5 are positive. If you have a negative 3 times a negative 5, you'll also get positive 15 because both the 3 and the 5 are negative. But if you have a negative 3 times a positive 5, the answer will be a negative 15 because the 3 is negative and the 5 is positive. They have different signs. And similarly, if you have a positive 3 times a negative 5, again, you'll get negative 15 because this time the 3 is positive and the 5 is negative. Now, if I were to write this for real, I don't ever use the times symbol because it can be seen as an X, and I never write the positive sign on a positive number because it can be seen as an addition sign or a plus sign. So for this first example here, this can be read as 3x plus 5, when really I'm just trying to say 3 times 5. Instead, you can use parentheses and put the numbers right next to each other like this. And this is a cleaner way to indicate multiplication. So this would be negative 3 times a negative 5 equals a positive 15. This would be negative 3 times a positive 5 equals negative 15. And this last one would be positive 3 times a negative 5 equals negative 15. The same rules apply for division. So if you have a positive 15 divided by a positive 3, you'll get a positive 5. A negative 15 divided by a negative 3 also gives you a positive 5 since the signs are the same. And then a positive 15 divided by a negative 3 gives you a negative 5. And then a negative 15 divided by a positive 3 will also give you a negative 5. And for division, I rarely write the division symbol. Instead, I write it as a fraction. So it would be 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Here would be negative 15 divided by a negative 3 equals 5. 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. Negative 15 divided by positive 3 is also a negative 5. So actually doing the operation of multiplying and dividing is easy enough, but does it make sense in your head what's going on? Let's use money as our example to visualize this. If I have money coming into my piggy bank here, I'll call that a positive result. And if I have money going out of my piggy bank, I'm going to call that a negative result. Let's say I have 3 friends who each owe me $5. If I were to count that up, that would be like $5 coming into my piggy bank 3 times. And since it's coming into my piggy bank, I would call that a positive $15 in total. Instead, if I am the one who owes each of my friends $5, then that would be like $5 going out of my piggy bank 3 times. And since it's going out, this would be a negative $15 in total. This image here represents negative $5 times 3 friends equals a negative $15. But what if we wanted to do -5 times a -3? It makes sense why $5 going out can be considered negative, but you can't have a -3 friends, right? Well, if anybody could pull it off, I think it could be you. Let's say you still owe $5 to your 3 friends, but then they find out you watch math videos online, and they're like, ew. And they're so disgusted that they would rather lose their $5 than still be friends with you. So now you still owe them $5, that hasn't changed, so we still have our -$15 here, but now your 3 friends are gone. They peaced out. But that's okay, because that means you don't have to pay them. So that money that was going to go out, this -$15, will actually go back into your piggy bank here, and it's like you're saving $15. And actually, it's better than that, because this is $15 that you didn't have before, but borrowed from your friends and went into your piggy bank, but then they bounced, so you're not paying them back. So it goes back into your piggy bank, and that's why you end up with -$5 times a -3 friends, who needs them anyway, equals a +$15. Dividing can be thought of in a similar way. If your 3 friends each owe you $5, you could say that you have a total of $15 coming in, and dividing by 3 friends gives you $5 per friend going into your piggy bank. And if you owe a total of $15 that needs to get paid out to your friends evenly, then you'd have a -$15 going out of your piggy bank, and divided by 3 friends would be a -$5 owed to each of your friends. And again, if your friends forfeit their $5 and abandon you, then you would still have your -$15 that you owed, but it would now go back to your piggy bank, and if you divide by your -3 friends, you would be saving $5 per friend. And like before, this is money you didn't have originally, so you are essentially taking $5 from each friend without paying them back. So that's why this 5 is positive, and probably why they're not your friend anymore. This may not be the most technically correct example of why 2 negatives gives you a positive, but it's the one that makes the most logical sense to me from an everyday perspective. There are more fancy ways of proving this, but it gets complicated, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do here. As long as you know what's going on in the background, you won't need to think twice about this in your math career. All you need to know is that multiplying or dividing numbers that have the same sign will give you a positive number, and if they have different signs, will give you a negative number.